webinar. We are going to get started in approximately 4 more minutes. So thanks for taking the time to join us. And thank you for your patience. For those of you just coming on, we are going to run Q&A at the conclusion of today's presentation. So type in your questions at the bottom of the screen under the Q&A section. Thank you. So type in your questions. Hi, thanks for joining today's webinar. We are going to get started in about 1 more minute. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. And we are going to run Q&A at the conclusion of today's presentation. And you can type in your questions under the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. And so just give us 1 second. We're just bringing in 1 more panelist, and then we will get started. Thank you so much. Hi, Lisa.
Kelly, how are you?
Oh, good to see you. So we're going to get started in about 1 more minute, and then I will turn it over to you. So thanks for joining today's webinar. For those of you just joining us, we are going to begin in about 1 minute, and we are going to run audience questions. So as questions come up, please type them in down at the bottom of your screen under the Q&A section, and we will address those at the conclusion of today's presentation. So just sit tight for another 30 seconds and we'll get started. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. Again, thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us. And we will be answering audience questions at the conclusion of the presentation. So as they come up, go down to the bottom of your screen under the Q&A section, and you can type in questions and we will address those at the conclusion. So I'm happy to introduce, we have the CTO of Luokung, Bao Min, and we also, who's going to be kicking off today's presentation is Lisa Morris, their PR representative. So with that, Lisa, I'm going to hand it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Morris and I am very excited to introduce you today to Luokung. Before we get started, I want to ask you a question. What do Ford, autonomous driving, remote sensing, weather tracking, and Dell have in common? The answer is Luokung. Luokung is a Chinese company that serves a Chinese market, but you have an incredible opportunity to invest in that market on the NASDAQ under ticker symbol LKCO. And I just want to point out before we start how large a market China is. In autonomous driving alone, by 2030, they are anticipated to be the largest market for cars, a multi-billion-dollar market. And you have the opportunity to get in now. And with that, I'm going to share my screen and start our presentation. So Luokung is a global provider of efficient, dependable, spatial temporal data worldwide. I do have to ask you to take just a moment to look at the very legal document on the screen. This will make lawyers happy and allow us to move on to the more interesting part of the presentation. A little bit of an overview about Luokung. They're a leading interactive location-based service and big data processing company. As I mentioned, they are based in China and they serve a Chinese market. They have integrated data as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service for the internet and the Internet of Things. And they have patented technologies. Again, to find them on the NASDAQ, ticker symbol is LKCO. Now look, for those of you who are already familiar with this company, I want to just address the elephant in the room for a moment. In January of 2021, LKCO was identified as a communist Chinese military company, which was completely unfair and unlawful, but it happened. In March 5th, we initiated federal court case challenging this unlawful designation by the Trump administration. And we received a notification from NASDAQ that trading of ordinary shares would be suspended on March 15th. On March 11th, they extended the trading suspension date to May 8th. And in May, the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia granted our motion for a preliminary injunction as it relates to this Department of Defense designation. The NASDAQ withdrew the delisting letter, and the LKCO shares continued trading on the NASDAQ. I am very happy to report that as of June 2021, the Department of Defense has admitted that this is no longer designated as a CCMC, and they consider this matter to be closed. So the issue is over and trading has resumed. So as I mentioned earlier, we are devoted to providing the most efficient and reliable spatial temporal data services worldwide. And our mission is to build intelligent communities with partners and customers. On the next slide, you will see some of our existing partners and customers. These are names you will recognize. For many of these companies, we have an existing relationship that we are going to continue to build upon. This includes Dell EMC, Huawei, Ford, Lotus, Volvo, Geely Technologies. Geely Technologies actually is one of the largest shareholders in Luokung. They have such faith in what we are doing. You might be wondering, as to be honest, I wondered when I first met the company, what exactly is spatial temporal data and how does it apply to me and why is it a business opportunity? The reality is spatial temporal data refers to data that's measured across both space and time. So applications for this include smart transportation, autonomous driving and HD mapping, remote sensing, the Internet of Things and smart cities, mobile internet location-based services, and BEIDO high-precision positioning. On this slide, you can see we already provide spatial services for over 10 key markets. These are vast: mobile internet apps, aerospace, smart supply chain with all the focus on supply chain, smart agriculture, smart manufacturing, smart emergency management, smart logistics, water resources, obviously autonomous driving. There are so many applications, Internet of Things, for this technology. Now, why Luokung? What do we have? What's our secret sauce that makes us the company that you should invest in? Well, we have a few key advantages. In August of 2018, we acquired a company called Super Engine. They do advanced spatial temporal data indexing, and their indexing technology is 1,000 times faster than the competing technologies. 1,000 times faster. They possess 15 patents and 9 patent application rights in the US, Europe, Japan, and China. We have a patented, provable technology that is better than the competition. In 2019, the acquisition of BotBrain. This is China's leading smart content solution provider. This covers machine learning, semantic analysis, and knowledge graphing. And then, and this is the part that is really, truly exciting to announce, our acquisition in March of 2021 of EMG. For anyone who's not already familiar with EMG, they're a leading navigation electronic map service provider in China, a leading one. This gives us access to Class A top-tier surveying and mapping qualifications, which are necessary and required in China. These include navigation electronic map productions, internet map services, and geographic information system engineering. A little bit more about EMG. As one of China's leading high-precision map providers, again, this qualifies Luokung to now have this top-tier Class A licensing. They also have a customer base primarily made up of auto manufacturers. They already have about 24% of China's in-dash navigation market share. Just breathe that in. They already have 24%. And this is just going to grow and grow and grow by combining forces with Luokung. As the autonomous driving and vehicles continue to grow, the in-dash navigation market continues to grow, and we are already penetrating that market deeply. We are well positioned with our partners. Our technology covers a wide variety of services. As I mentioned earlier, we have a full spatial temporal data super engine, an indexing technology that is faster than the rest. We have the only comprehensive spatial temporal data service in China that covers all types of spatial temporal data. This includes mapping data, vector data, raster data, remote sensing data, trajectory data, streaming data, building information modeling. It goes on and on and on. We also have the world's first full vector, non-tiled internet map. What does this mean? It means we have significantly improved the capabilities and the efficiencies of map. This information can be used for event transactions, for real-time traffic, for high-resolution remote sensing, for Internet of Things, for buildings. It just continues to grow. This next screen, again, reviews what I've simply just told you. We have the mobile internet location-based services. This includes highway services, lane-level navigation capabilities, high-precision point navigation. We even have an advertising marketing platform through location-based services. We have smart transportation platform, a smart way for natural resources and environmental asset management. We all know the focus on the environment. This technology will help. We have the smart city, smart emergency, and intelligent training platforms, as well as all of the surveying, mapping, HD mapping, Beidou enhanced data services, and remote data services. It's almost too much to take in, but we can do it all. Again, to quickly review on some of the tech. With the top 3 map makers in China, including EMG, which we now own, we have the Class A qualification certificates, and we have 24% of the automotive in-dash navigation market share already. We have full vector map technology. We significantly reduced the hardware investment and the cost for users through core patented technologies. So you have a better, more efficient, faster map at a lower cost. We also have a leading technological advantage in automatic valet parking. And we're part of the first commercialized automatic valet parking project. We have real-time HD map updating services, map planning and operational capability. We have strategic cooperation with companies like Continental, Dell EMC, and Huawei Cloud. And we are one of the industry standard setters in the Chinese HD map market. We also have satellite and remote sensing capabilities. We have a cooperation with the China Center for Resources, Satellite Data and Application. Now, I realize that is a mouthful, but what you really need to know is that they are one of the 3 major satellite application centers in China, and they currently manage half of China's Landsat image data, half of the data, and we have a cooperation with them. The creator of China's remote sensing cloud service model dramatically reduced the difficulty and cost of satellite and UAV data management. And our strategic partnerships include Tencent Cloud, Huawei Cloud, in platform as a service, software as a service, and data as a service. I also want to talk a little bit about smart cities. There is a huge, huge opportunity with smart cities. China is investing over $20 billion annually in smart cities. They're in a new round of investment and construction. And we have a person on our board who is in the room where it happens. He's actually a part of the planning process with the Chinese government. He gets to see and participate early on in all of the conversations around smart city planning. And we currently have projects being negotiated right now in Hainan and Heilongjiang, which will bring considerable revenue to the company. Smart cities are a huge opportunity. We also have smart transportation. Our highway database is composed of 3 parts: high precision map, GPS high precision positioning, and spatial temporal data processing engine as the core of Highway Data Intelligent Application Data Service Platform. We can provide real-time traffic information services and data for the freeways in China. We are lucky enough today to have on this call our Chief Technology Officer, who's going to get into more detail on the technology we have now as it relates to traffic and weather and other applicability for the technology. I've given you a lot of information, and I know it's a lot to take in. So I just want you to take a breath, and we're going to review the core competencies of the company. We have the patented super engine indexing technology that's 1,000 times faster than the rest. We have full vector map without tiles for more efficient computing. Full spectrum support of data types and formats. We have the high precision localization, which is compatible with Beidou, GPS, and it's integrated with an augmentation service that will increase precision. We also have embedded and enabled an SDK, so there is no need for an extra chip. And again, as we spoke about with the mapping data and the certifications, along with EMG, we now have top-tier surveying and mapping licenses and top-tier electronic navigation service licenses. We have the production, maintenance, and update of assisted driving maps. And we are deeply, deeply engaged in assisting with the validation and the testing and scenario simulations for autonomous driving. So as autonomous driving market continues to grow, we are right in the room discussing the safety, dealing with the testing. We are very, very well positioned in this incredibly rapidly growing market. So some of the investment highlights to be very well aware of. As I've discussed, our innovative technology and our established partnerships. We've successfully integrated key business acquisitions. We're a trusted partner of very reputable companies that you know well in tech, in auto, in security, and in other sectors. Companies like Geely, like Microsoft, like Dell. We have a growing market opportunity that is supported by a post-pandemic environment. There is an increased demand for location-based services, and geospatial temporal data processing. There's a growing market for Internet of Things and autonomous technology. And most importantly, we have the management team and experienced leadership to do it. No company is successful without the right team. We have an incredible team with over 20 years of experience in the tech industry, bringing experience from companies like Microsoft and Google and Amazon. Truly the best in class. Again, to review some business partnerships that we have with the China Center for Resources, Satellite Data and Application, for National Geospatial Information Center, Beidou Positioning, Continental, Dell EMC, CETC Cloud, and Geely. I mentioned Geely earlier. They're the manufacturer and owner of brands like Volvo and Lexus. I mean, they're very, very well known. They're shareholders in our company. And along with Geely, we aided in the data collection of urban HD map data and real street map data. We had a cooperation with the second largest online car hailing service in China. So that takes you through the tech. Now we get to the fun part of the numbers and the money. So I'm very, very happy to announce that in February of 2021, we closed over 120 million US dollars. As you can see, in February 10th, we closed 5 million. February 16th, another 15 million. And by February 22nd, we closed 100 million US dollars. This cash is going to allow us to grow very, very fast. In terms of the competitive landscape, are there companies that do things? Absolutely. Some of them are on the screen ahead of you. But with Luokung, you have the advantage of the company that is doing China to let you into China through the safety of the NASDAQ. That is incredibly important because this is a market you do not wish to be left out of. And it's only through Luokung that you can invest in this market specifically. Revenue, always fun. And I love this slide because for our company, it's a very, very happy slide. In 2020, we had 18.3 million in revenue. We had projected and anticipated 100 million for 2021. And I am happy to report that we are on track to achieve that 100 million and possibly even surpass it. And by 2022, we anticipate 250 million. I realize this growth is very rapid, but fortunately, we do have on the call today our CFO, and he'll be able to answer any detailed questions you may have about how we get to those projections and where our revenue is coming from. One of the best parts of this company is that revenue doesn't come from just one vertical. We have so many different business verticals, and that's a very safe thing for an investor. So this brings me a bit to our management team. We have the chairman of the board, Mr. Song. We have the president, Mr. Zhang. We have our CTO, Baomin Li, who I'm going to come back to in just a moment, our CFO, Mr. Yu, and our senior vice president of EMG and CEO of EMG, Mr. Liu. So on the call, we have Baomin Li and Jay Yu. This is our CTO and our CFO. So please, don't forget, use the chat function and type in those questions because they'll be able to answer all of your questions in greater detail. But I do want to take a minute to introduce Baomin. Are you there? I can see your picture.
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful. So I'm going to let you take the floor a little bit so that you can talk about the exciting new technology that you have. And when you need me to change the screen, just, either hold up your hand or say change screen and I will advance the slides. So I am going to mute myself for a moment and take it away.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. I'm so glad to have this opportunity to share a little bit more about our smart road sensing scenario that we are developing, actually piloting with Jiangsu Highway Management Company. So this pilot is going really well, and I want to. So there's a few things Lisa already talked about But today I'm going to focus some novelty thing that is so different than our competitor than anything I know from the market. So you can see the majority of the focus we have is on the HD map. The HD map is the basis for us to cover everything that is happening on the road. But what is the technology to help us to do the visibility monitoring and to really give you a full control of the road maintenance and to help you to guide the traffic in the most efficient way? Today, I'm now going to talk about the road bridge ice treatment because this is very specific to a specific road condition. So it is in pilot now as well, but it's not as about applicable to all the other highways. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what are our capabilities of our visibility and hazard detection. Please, next slide. So all this sensing technology, and we have a few key scenarios and requirements in our mind. Number one, the sensing need to be done really, really quick. So it is achieved in milliseconds. And we want to send the traffic incidents or accidents reports or something that is dangerous to drive on to respond, send warnings to the vehicles and to the administrators within 3 seconds. So all the system will work in all conditions, not only using the cameras that is going to be constrained by the lighting condition, but we have a millimeter wave radar technology. It's a special type of millimeter wave. It is a far field that can reach really far. I will talk about a little bit more about that in next slides. And all those information will be used in traffic control, and this is going to be really enhance the experience of the road traffic control and management. So let's talk about a little bit more of the weather safety warning system. You can see on this slide, when there is a very dark and where there is a snow, there is a haze, and there is something happening on the road. And you can see that. And basically, we using our AI system to process the data from our sensors. There is a camera sensor, there's a radar sensor, and then we will detect all those informations in real time. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. You can see previous slides. You can see in the table, we have some comparison against the currently available other solutions on the in the market. We are so different. You can see we are real time, and the duration for us is 7/24, and we can detect multiple objects. Actually, it's 128, and the distance is 1 kilometers. When others comparable other technologies only can cover 100 meters. So we can adapt to all weather conditions. There is no human intervention required, and the data type or the data we can really detect and measure is the distance, velocity, density, traffic volume, the space between the vehicles. All those information will be fitted into our analysis framework, can provide information to our road safety assessment system. So we can give the line traffic density report and the line flow report, and then based on the road conditions, we can assess whether there is a need to adjust the speed of each specific lanes. And our far-field millimeter wave radar detector plus the camera system can really cover 1 kilometer far away and you can see that all the accidents of normal driving behavior, such as excessive speeding and slow traffic and abrupt acceleration, braking, all those dangerous behaviors will be detected and be sending warning and alarms and to the system. So this will give us a very good traffic prediction and when there is some possible accidents happening. And this system currently is in pilot. Next slide, please. One area that the highway management company is really pleased about is we help them to make the maintenance of the road really easy. Previously, they have to use traditional vehicles and do the surveys, and if they see things, they will remove things. Because this is a very human-intensive operation, and it cannot conduct very regularly. So the road condition can be really bad for a long time. Using the smart maintenance technology we provided, you can use the drones and some survey vehicles. You can just drive in a very good speed, and our camera system will take the picture, do the autonomic analysis, and send the likely damage to the technician. And once the technician is confirmed this is the damage, and the system will automated generate a repair request process to send to the technician. The technician will send this. The system will send this request to the crew, and the crew will make the things disappear. So this will make the road much safer to drive, and the response time will be much faster. So this is very welcomed by the highway management company, and this is we are really glad to report that many other provinces, they have the same problem, and they want to have high quality of maintenance and with less cost. They have visited our pilot area and very pleased to see the result. And so we are in the negotiation phase with many possible partners. Once the contract and more progress is made, we will make announcement accordingly. So this is a very, very interesting area, and we have put a lot of emphasis, and we have seen good result. This is why I'm so excited to really talk about this area. And I think this is a very good way for us, not only provide technology, but also to really provide value for our customers. Lisa, please take it away.
Sure. Thank you so much. It's really fascinating stuff. It's as a non-CTO, it's incredible for me to see that the changes that are happening, how much safer the roads are going to be, and how much easier it's going to be for the municipalities and governments to fix the things that happen. So it's really incredible. Before I open the floor up to your questions, I do want to just review some of the key takeaways of why Luokung is such an incredible company. So our recent additions to the technology offerings, which certainly will strengthen our ability to compete in this growing market, the closing of the EMG acquisition, that solidifies a leading position in location-based services, and it presents an enormous opportunity of expansion in autonomous driving, intelligent transportation, Internet of Things, smart cities, smart highways, and so much more. The favorable conclusion to the Department of Defense matter allows us to finally focus fully on the growth of operations now that that is behind us. We are establishing new and we are deepening existing very key important strategic partnerships. And you have the opportunity to invest directly in the explosive growth of the Chinese autonomous driving market and HD map services sector. So these are all of the reasons why you should remember LKCO. And with that, I am going to I will stop sharing my screen, and I am going to return to Callie with Force Family Office, and Callie will be able to answer your questions or have your questions answered by our CTO and by our CFO. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today, and I am going to mute myself and listen to the answers. So, Callie, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Lisa and Bao Min. So let's get right to it because there are several questions that have come on. Who is the biggest manufacturer that Luokung partnered along with recently?
Jay, are we legally able to announce it today?
Oh, okay. So you're saying there might be some privacy issues right now?
Yeah, due to some NDAs, maybe it's not appropriate to announce any names.
Okay. Okay. Sure. No problem. Thank you. When will the next earnings? When will be the next earnings? Again, another question on the global manufacturer, but along with that, do you have an earnings announcement or?
You mean for the financial result for the first 3 quarters? Yeah, we are targeting in August to release the financial result for the first 6 months of the year 2021.
Oh, okay, great. And when do you think? Again, there's a lot of questions here on the confidentiality. Do you know when you'll be able to make that announcement?
Yeah, we do have some announcement, and because we have signed some deals, and in following few weeks, we're gonna release such announcement.
Okay, great, thank you. What are some of the challenges you had to overcome the last couple of years, and how are you building on top of those challenges to prevent them in the future? Okay. Anything else in the pipeline that investors can get excited about?
I can take this one. So everyone knows that the pandemic really put a lot of breaks, a lot of our projects. So our projected progress was delayed for about 4 to 5 months. But now everything is on track, and so we are very pleased to see the things is in order. One of the difficulties we have encountered is the collaboration and the work together with the big car manufacturers. Sometimes it's not as fast as internet companies as we have accustomed to work with. So they have very long process. So all the work need to be reviewed many times, and now we have getting more accustomed to work with them and more efficiently. So this has been exceed my previous experience, because I have been working with internet companies, Amazon and Google, all in very fast companies. But with automakers, so they are more on the slow side, if I can say that. So, but now I think we are on very good terms in terms of collaboration, and we see very eye to eye in our way to how to deal with the autonomous driving strategy. So there is a lot of synergy in there, and everyone is buys into the collaboration between the sensing and HC map as the long-term autonomous driving L5 roadmap. So we see a lot of good opportunities lining up for us, and we are working very closely with a few key partners in this space. So I'm not going to name names here, but expect something to follow when things are materialized and ready to release.
Great, thank you. Are you also planning to present this to large investment houses, or has that already been done?
Jay?
you hear?
So
He might, go ahead.
So basically, we have only talked with very few big investors, and we haven't really go around to talk with a lot of investors yet. So
great. Okay, thank you. How dedicated is Luokung to protecting the privacy of the customers?
Very much. So this is our key advantages. I consider one of our moat. So we are, so in China, so you know there is a BAT and there's a lot of companies doing the business to give you free access to map, but they acquire individual user information, their activities in a very granular level. So we are in a different space. We're providing services to enterprise customers, and we gave their control of their own user data. We don't collect user data, we don't sell user data, and we protect user privacy as our primary competitive advantage. We take it really seriously.
Thank you. Luokung is growing big in China. Are we going to see any major contracts in pipeline in the United States?
I'm not going to announce anything prematurely here, so I'm going to dodge this question. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a date for the 2 smart city contracts being discussed and being concluded?
So probably a lot of people know Chinese government have a very long process to make the decision. And actually, if someone is fluent in Chinese, if they check the newspapers in some provinces, our name is showing up very regularly. So we are in a very good position. But the decision process sometimes we cannot control, but we and our partners are pushing really hard, and then when the result is ready, and we will announce it accordingly.
Great, thank you. What is the company's cash position after acquiring EMG, and when do you plan on doing more shares offerings?
Yeah, I can take this one. At this moment, the cash position is it's gonna help us to go through in the next maybe 12 months. But it really depends on the share price to considering another round of financing. Yeah, and I think we are trying to build expand the business. So of course we need more cash to help us to do that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. There are a lot of concerns the Chinese government cracking down tech companies. Do you foresee any issues with Luokung?
So,
oh yes, I can take this one, and you can add some. Yeah, and yeah, I saw this question from the Q&A section. Yeah, the main reason from our understanding regarding to the DD is about the data security. EMG is holding a Class A license for serving and mapping. So due to the DD incident, we believe that the government's review and compliance management of this kind of license will be more strengthened in the future. But in the history, EMG has always been following the relevant rules and regulations, and it hasn't received any non-compliance penalties. So, especially from the beginning of this month, due to the DD incident and the education crackdown, they caused the panic selling. So, but we believe, for our industries, for the autonomous driving and smart cities, are the direction of the future development, and also it is an important part of the future infrastructure. So the capability of HD map, and of course including the Class A license as a data and the processing technology are extremely important. So we understand there might be some panic sellings, but is our share price maybe is coming back in the future. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Oh, go ahead, Nauman. Did you have anything to add to that?
So I just want to add, and EMG has been in this business for almost 10 years. So we are very familiar with what are the regulations, what are the rules, and we are very stringent on the compliance side. So we have been never on the wrong side of the issue, and we have been taking the security and privacy issue really seriously, and we don't foresee any problem with the government. As Jay said, and our direction is aligned really well with the growth strategy of Chinese big initiatives. So I think we align very well with the growth path of the economy. Yeah.
Thank you. So, and there are a lot of questions here on your PR strategy. Will you have a press release, under the ticker symbol, or any social media pushes, Twitter? Kind of what's your plan going forward to help give Luokung bigger attention?
Yes, we have engaged with PR firms, and they're going to help us to build more relationship with investors, especially for individual investors. And we have learned that there are some like YouTubers, they have covered our company, and also we've been discussing to disclose more, because we are a foreign company. We only disclose annual reporting once a year, and a press release including 6 months financial results. So we are working on that. I believe in the near future, and this PR company is going to run our account, the Facebook and the Twitter account, and we are able to to let the investor to learn more about the company. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. There's a question here on Geely. At the end of last year, Geely wanted their preferred redeemed. The company said it was an extension talks. What's the status of Geely preferred?
Yes, and they did send us the notice at that time, but we've been discussing this, but we haven't signed any offshore document. The investment or the redemption of this investment has been delayed, but it doesn't mean they're gonna redeem it soon. But we haven't signed any offshore document yet.
Okay, thank you. With working closely with the Chinese government, are you concerned that Luokung could be put back on a blacklist?
We don't work with military and the government part. We only work with the service side, that is served the citizens of the Chinese people. So we are not in any way, in any shape or form, to help Chinese government to do the policing and to monitoring the people. We are not in that business. We are making our infrastructure to help HD map, to help autonomous driving, to help a smart city, to make things run smoothly. But we are not in a monitoring business.
Great, thank you. And can you talk about your current share price and how that reflects the company's true value?
Yes, it's a good question. As I mentioned from the earlier of July, due to the impact of Didi and the share price being going down about like 40%, and we do not know we believe we are undervalued, of course, and I think as there's more news coming, the price is going to come back.
Okay, thank you. Will you be joining the Hong Kong market as well?
You mean for the shares?
I believe so.
Yeah, we haven't considering any of that. Yeah, no.
Okay. When does the autonomous driving from Luokung release to the mass production? Into mass production?
So autonomous driving have many different areas of applications. For the simulation, and currently we are working with automakers to make that. We are currently already doing that. For the HD map, so we already helping Ford and other companies in the 2.5 autonomous driving. For the full autonomous driving, I think it will still many years away. Exactly how many years away, I don't have the crystal ball to tell you whether it's 80 years or 10 years or 15 years, but I think it will be still a long term away. So at the meantime, I have a strong belief I want to share here. That is, so autonomous driving will not be done only by the smart car. It will be the collaboration between the smart car and the smart road. So that will be the collaboration between those two, and we will be doing the business on both sides.
Great, thank you. As far as the for investors, can your investors expect a presentation to be released in order to give a comprehensive idea of where the company is situated right now and where it's heading?
Yeah, yes, we are going to share the presentation on our website, and of course we have to discuss this with our attorney first, and maybe do some minor adjustment. And also, I mentioned to you we have engaged with the PR company, and we're gonna do more communications with investors and let them know where are we headed. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I think that concludes today's presentation and Q&A. For everyone in the audience, everyone here has my email address. I can connect you directly to Bao-Min and Jay. They will also have all of your information with emails and can send this presentation out to you as well. So be sure to utilize those communications, and if there are further questions, you can address them with Bao-Min and Jay. So again, I want to thank everyone, and if Luokung, if you have any last words for the audience.
So it's such a pleasure to have this talk directly with all the people online. And as Jay said, I think we are a great company with great technologies and have a very bright future. And I hope so our technology will not only drive stock higher, but really serve the community, really save people's life and make the society running more efficiently. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Happy Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks.